Part 2 of Cup of Tea. This is the question. The questions you sent in on Twitter and YouTube prior to us going live. Myself and Collins are here to whiz through them. If you haven't seen Part 1 of Cup of Tea, then lucky you. If you wish to see Part 1 of Cup of Tea, it's over on our other channel. And make sure you subscribe to this one and drop a like on the video, because if we wait till the end, you probably won't have enjoyed it and won't drop a like on it. So do it now. Do it while it's fresh. Anyway, Gonzo, are you ready for some questions from our Twitter people and our YouTube people?
Yes, please.
Let's crack. Joe Lampard at Joe Lampard 2 says, when Maxi Gomez signs for Valencia, who should we target next? Now, obviously, another one we just did, who would we like to target next, but who should we target next? Two different questions, in my opinion.
Well, I still think that we're gonna have to stick to this target man thing. And when you look at who was the guy, it was Negredo, wasn't it? Negredo and Dzeko, who were two big strikers. So Pellegrini clearly has a liking for that sort of guy. You can understand that. Obviously, Arnautovic is just not the answer. I'm wondering where Arnautovic is going to fit in for him. So he's got to go for somebody big, basically. You know, there's no doubt about it. Look, we've already discussed. I said with like Hallow, we said like Paulson. We had the guy Ibrahim Sangrero, who I struggled to pronounce and still did then. It was one more who's, I think his name was Mateta. I think possibly Jean-Philippe Mateta was the most outstanding young player I think that I saw when I was compiling my list together. So maybe we should just be going for someone like that.
There's someone from this shores I would like to take a punt on. Tammy Abraham. He's very hit and miss. And when I watched Villa quite a lot last season for some reason. I think it's because he was always just on the TV. He misses a lot of chances, but I think we have to remember he's young. He's quite quick for his size. He's tall, he's strong. I wouldn't mind a punt on him, actually. There'll be a European striker out there somewhere that we'll be watching and monitoring closely, etc. The guy we buy, the striker we sign, probably never heard of him. There'll be another foreign else where we're like, who the hell is this guy? And we're going to have to YouTube him. Well, you're going to YouTube him and stuff. But Tammy Abraham isn't someone I wouldn't mind... Just the Bundesliga, though. I know we were supposed to be looking in Spain and France, but it stresses me out that we don't look in Germany a bit more. There's proper goal scorers over there. You know, Kramaric at Hoffenheim, for example, is someone I think would fit for us, scores goals in Germany, and you just think, I think we send someone to Germany, employ a German scout or something, just hoover up talent over there if possible. If anyone comes out in Bundesliga, it's not going to top 6 club and wants to go to Premier League, I almost want West Ham to become the #1 destination, the club that brings players over from that country.
Just on that, Tammy Abrahams, we digress slightly. You see the under-21s yesterday. I can't help but feel that Bournemouth have had their pants pulled down with Solanke for 19 million.
Crap. He's crap. He was awful for England.
But he looks awful every time I've seen him. 19 million. Eddie Howe normally gets an awful lot right, doesn't he? Particularly with the way he picks young players. Unless something drastic happens. 19 million. Crazy.
I agree with you. I think he's the reason he lost the game. I think Solanke was just the one player who was awful for England in that game. Just want to say a quick congratulations to someone that's in the live chat right now. He told you how to pronounce his name. Is it Tiley or Teely? How do you say his name? Steve?
Tile. Steve Tiley. He's a fellow lover of Devon, like myself.
Well, congratulations to Steve, because he said that his daughter had twin boys earlier today.
Congratulations, Steve.
Congratulations to Steve's daughter. It wasn't Steve that gave birth.
No, I know. And obviously Chicharito and Zabaleta had nothing to do with it at all, I'm sure. It's just but I'm congratulating Steve.
Maybe Steve's daughter's a big West Ham fan. She got excited with the 3-1 victory earlier in the season 9 months ago as well.
Everyone loved that victory against Everton. Clearly, it stirred the loins of us all. You know, certainly. I'm going to go and check my wife's not just given birth.
I was about to say, I'm going to have to make sure the girl I was with that night is not just pop one out this weekend.
Yeah, yours is slightly more complicated than my situation.
I'm going to have a random text coming through. What are you up to? Who's this?
Oh dear.
Do you have 10 tokens? No, then I am not calling them. You're not worthy of parenthood. Sorry, you need Hammer Chat tokens for this. Irish Tommy says, even if we have a very good transfer window and enter the new season with a very strong squad, do you worry our season will be derailed yet again by having 10, 12 players out injured at some point?
Yeah, I always worry about that because, as I said a long time ago, I would like it to be incorporated into our scouting. Injuries, I think you look at technique, how strong is their left foot, how strong is their right foot, can they run? I think you look at a lot of things when you're scouting. But I do, you know, injury proneness, that's not right, is it? But anyway, how injury prone someone is, it should be taken into account. I don't think it's something we do well. Hopefully that's changed. And but I don't know. But I still, I mean, funny enough, H-List alluded to it when he was talking in the 24-hour stream, and he said about Yarmolenko coming in. There's actually precious little evidence to suggest that Yarmolenko is going to be fit next season. In fact, the evidence suggests he won't. So, yeah, but I do also think that with the players that we bring in, if they're scouted correctly, will help. I also don't think we can be as unlucky as we were last season. I also think getting Andy Carroll off the books is going to be massive for us, because surely whoever we bring in can't be as injury prone as Andy Carroll. I mean, a dead bloke is less injury prone than Andy Carroll, let's be fair. So we should improve slightly.
Yeah, I think this is why I've got Fornals in, because I think Pellegrini's looking at Wiltshire thinking, well, I'd love to play you and Lanzini and Weiss in midfield, but you're not fit enough. So I'm going to bring in Fornals, and if you are fit enough, great, I might play you. But I think we're always working on the assumption Wiltshire or Lanzini is going to be injured next season. I think that's why I've gone and heavily invested in this centre mid, because Pellegrini was crying out for one of them last season. They were both injured. So I think this is why I've invested in that type of player. You're right with Yarmolenko, Wiltshire, Carlos Sanchez. You have to sort of just hope that they're fit, and if they're not, they're not. But I think the change in transfer strategy will slowly move us away, where we do sort of, Wolves last season. I haven't checked this because it seems a bit strange, but I read that they only used 16 outfield players last season in the Premier League. And remember when Leicester won the title, they only used the same. They only used that amount of players as well. There's something in that. There's no fluke that these guys use little amount of players and have a really good season and can turn the consistency and stuff. And you look at teams that do chop and change, they're usually at the bottom struggling because they can't work out what to do and what to play and stuff. Someone just give me one second. Oh, Paul Stewart, he's trying to steal Steve's thunder here a little bit. Paul said it's his 72nd birthday today, so he's sticking to Scotch. So
he hasn't had twins as well, has he?
Yeah, I don't know, but
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, 72 years old, and well done on stealing Steve's thunder about his grandkids. Mr. Stardust, I know you guys are fans of X, but what do you think about these sort of guys not having as much info anymore, and the club behaving in a more professional manner towards transfer targets?
Don't care. Basically, I think it's good for the club. I don't think it matters one jot. I mean, let's name names. Let's say X and Claret and Hugh. I don't think it matters one jot. I think X does fantastically well at his radio show and his events. He's carved out a niche there. That's what it is. I don't even think, if he can't release who we're signing before anybody else, 2 weeks before anybody else, if he can't do that anymore, it doesn't matter anymore, because his radio show's hugely successful. The events are hugely successful. They're going to do one in America. The same for Claret and Hugh. I've said this for a long, long time. People, we had a conversation on the forum, and it was about Claret and Hugh leaking news that maybe we shouldn't. And I said, well, I think you can go on any given day and look at the last 10 articles on Claret and Hugh, and I think only one of them might be that. Actually, the rest of them will be, it could be any stuff. It could be when the fixtures are arranged, what's coming up on telly, this, that, and the other, the budget, the financial breakdown. And the thing is, people click on it for all sorts of reasons. And people click on that website 5 or 10 times a day to find out the West Ham news. I just don't think it matters to either Claret and Hugh or X whether they know who we're signing before anyone else anyway. I think people click on the websites, listen to the radio show, go to the events regardless. And I think from us as a club closing business, I think it's a good thing that we keep it secret and nobody knows.
I think it's really, really good as well. I think it's more fun, actually. I think there was a bit of fun signing Roberto and everyone scrambling around going, who's Roberto? This Bernal's thing as well. Someone commented, we did our Bernal sort of announcement video, we did our reaction to it. Someone commented something like, linked to Monday night, signed on Thursday. And I thought, actually, that sums up perfectly well. This was done as soon as when we knew about it, it was already too late. We'd already had a deal with Villarreal sewing up practically. You know, it was already in the latter stages. And then 2 to 3 days later, he was on the official website with the shirt and stuff. So that was fantastic. The thing you have to remember is Claret and Hugh and X are West Ham fans. So they probably part of them probably doesn't mind not getting the information. Of course, the in the know in them will be scratching around frustrated, but the football fan, the West Ham fan in them, will be quite pleased in a way, perhaps. Maybe they, you know, I don't know. I'm a bit sort of, but to answer his question, from a club's point of view, I think it's fantastic. I think it's really, really good, this. And it was almost slightly amusing seeing them get it wrong with the finality. You know, Sean did the article saying, oh, yeah, we don't want him. And then he had to delete it and stuff. And there was something a bit amusing about it. You could sort of smile and go, the club got you over on that one and stuff. Woody, Alan, hammers the insurance number on Twitter. Which celebrity West Ham fan would you most like to interview? I would love to see you have a chat with James Corden.
The Queen. The Queen. I would love to interview the Queen.
She's not a West Ham fan. You ever seen her out in the away game?
Philippe, myself and Philippe. Come on, you irons. Yeah, she's a huge West Ham fan. I don't know. I mean, everyone trots out the same ones, don't they, all the time? Yeah, you know, I could say, I don't know. I did see Danny Dyer and Ray Winston at the Cup final in 2006, by the way. They went together. They went to that game together, which was quite odd seeing them walk past the boozer. I think possibly, actually, maybe Lennox Lewis, actually, because I'd have a lot of boxing questions for him. I'm not sure how bothered I would be about asking Ray Winston what his favourite game he ever went to or anything like that. If I spoke to Ray Winston, I'd probably want to talk to him about Sexy Beast or something like that. You know, I don't know. We just have so much West Ham opinion. It's a hard one. That's a good question, though. That's a good question. It's got me. As a question, I'll think of the answer to tomorrow.
I struggle to come up with one because the obvious ones are Ray Winston, Danny Dyer, Russell Brand, and James Corden, really, because they've got big social media presence. So they're the ones you think of. You think, oh, video get a few views if we get them on. But in all honesty, do you know something? I think we've already interviewed him, Gonzo. Chris Akabusi.
Oh, of course, there you go.
I think we actually interviewed him. He's been on the channel quite a few times and stuff, and he will come on again in the future. I actually think he is as best as you can get. Because he knows about West Ham, he keeps up to date with all the news, etc. He's enthusiastic. You couldn't ask for more from, like, I guess, and those people in the live chat saying stuff like, you know, Triple H and stuff. I couldn't think of anything worse, to be honest, than trying to interview some guy jumping on a bandwagon and stuff that holds a shirt up for social media for a couple of snaps or whatever. Like,
yeah, and you'd only be disappointed because you'll find out he doesn't know anything about West Ham.
Do you know what I would like? There must be players out there that don't play, they've never played for West Ham, had a good career, but they've supported West Ham. You might not even know about them because you don't know who everybody's boyhood club is, right? But there will be football players out there that's never ever played at West Ham United, but they were big fans. Their family are big fans. Who those players are, I don't know. I would like to interview someone like that, actually, to get their perception from an ex-player's point of view on West Ham United, especially when they were playing football and what it was like playing against West Ham when you support them and stuff. That's what I would like. And I take it you have a player in mind by you waving your finger.
I do. I'll tell you who I would like to speak to. I'll tell you I'd really like to speak to. I'd like to speak to Jack Wilshere. I'm not even sure it's a case of sitting down and doing a YouTube video. I would love to speak to Jack Wilshere. I always rated Jack Wilshere so highly, and I was desperate for him to come. I love the way he plays football. I still have faith in him. And then I watched that documentary, which is something we've not discussed at all. That documentary. And I felt for him. Anyone that's had a baby or has got a child, anyone and everyone, when you get a baby, that point where you lean over them in the cot and you think, are they breathing? Are they breathing? Everyone has done it. If you've had a child, you do it. Are they breathing? Are they breathing? And you put your hand there, and you even sometimes wake them up to check that they're breathing, and then you've got a woken up child on your hands. For him to go on about his son's panic attacks and him getting up every night, and basically what he was saying was he's not knowing if his son was going to be breathing or not. That really resonated with me, and I think to see him as well. And I've always loved the way he plays football. I love the way he passes it and he goes and he moves into space. And I know he's had his little things, when he's had his little naughty things in nightclubs and all the rest of it. I'm never that harsh. Like I was talking about Balotelli, because I don't know, G. If I'd ever been good enough to be a footballer, I don't know. I reckon I'd have been in a few nightclubs. I've got to say, I can't pretend that I'd have been squeaky clean anyway. But I don't know. Whenever I watch Jack or listen to him interviewed, I don't know what it is. I just look. I think actually there's someone I think I would get on with. Do you know what I mean? I like him. I like the way he comes across. I like everything. I'd love to speak to Jack Wilshere actually.
Connor Matthews, I said Liam Britton. He's actually a really good shout. He is a proper West Ham fan. He's actually someone I wouldn't mind chatting to, etc. Phil Trott at Dartmoor Legend said, what price would you accept for Diop, and what players would you like to replace him with? He said, I personally think 100 million. He will be worth double that in 5 years' time, and centre-back is sorted for 12 years.
I think if you were going to... it's Man United. As I said, they're poorly managed, and they have got tons and tons of money. You want him, you're going to pay the world record. What was Van Dijk? 75? You're going to have to give us 76. Do a Wenger. Give us 75 million and £1, and you can have him. Who would I replace him with? The stats French up and Campo, the geezer from last night. The French centre back, up and Downovich, up and Campo. Played the centre back for France last night for under 21.
I only know one of them. It's not him. It's it's the Leipzig centre back. Is it Konate?
Yeah, no, there was one last. It was a long name. I'm terrible. Up and Campo. It was something like that. Someone's screaming out the name, probably, maybe even writing it in the chat. He looked good. You take a punt on another youngster, but Pellegrini will know somebody better than that. But he looks like he was going to be a player. There was somebody that went to Barcelona a few years ago. TT, who looked really good, but he didn't sort of play very much. So
he's still there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I mean, PSG. There's a rumor going on that PSG are trying to sell Neymar back to Barcelona for 100 million plus Rakitic. I think it was Dembele and that Umtiti.
Titty bang bang. Titty bang bang. We love you. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently that's the rumor. Yeah, but Umtiti is still at Barcelona.
Yeah, well, I wasn't talking Umtiti. I'm talking Up and Campo. Oh, terrible. Anyone watching this, people that love European football are saying they think we can't speak. Probably we can't.
I don't. Someone tweeted me the other day and was like, "Oh, I enjoy your videos. They're really knowledgeable." I was like, "I don't think they are, mate." We can't say we don't know who they are.
No. But Geo, we could sit here and pretend we have an encyclopedic knowledge of European football, but we don't, and we can't even pronounce the names.
I mean, we could just sit here and read out the strengths and weaknesses of WhoScored.com, for example. We could just do that. I'll tell you what, actually, I didn't know Boubacar Kamara. I love that name by Boubacar. And the Caban one over in Germany. I didn't know of those players until we were linked with them. But then when I was talking to you about that under-20s list, I was flicking through it. They're both in there, and they're both about 19 and 22 on the list as well. So I thought, okay, this is promising a little bit. In all honesty, it's hard. It's just the football fan in you, isn't it? When you see your player linked away, you almost think, well, we could go get that player, as if it's that simple. And you always get to the point where you think, well, if Diop leaves and this Kamara is only 25 million, then we're quids in, aren't we? So there is a little bit of that about it. So, but for me, I think 60 million for Diop's fair for both parties. I think we get a decent profit on a guy who's only been here for one season. I think they get a really good player for the fee that's only going to go up in value. I do think sometimes, and people just don't seem to want to believe that actually there is deals to be done where both parties come out of it good. Sadio Mane is a perfect example. I keep saying it. Southampton got a lot of money for a player at that time, 36 million or whatever it was. Liverpool got the player they wanted. It turned out to be cheap. Both teams just got a good deal. And I think for 60 million for Diop, I think West Ham would get a good deal. I think Man United would get a good deal as well. It's just that thing. It's just the way it works. It's all about how you then reinvest your money. And the players we're being linked with, going by what you can research, that are more than promising. And the one thing that intrigues me is, Pellegrini keeps talking about this big club mentality. We need to have a big club mentality. So I was trying to think, what is the big club mentality for this Diop situation? Let's just say a £60 million bid comes in. Is the big club mentality to say, no, F off, he's not for sale? Or is the big club mentality actually to say, actually, yeah, 60 million, off you go, and we're going to go get two players for that money? I think both answers are right. I actually think whatever you do is correct. It just depends on what Pellegrini wants to do. Pellegrini will think, and this is what we don't know, Pellegrini will see one of those situations as the right thing to do as a big club mentality. But I don't know what it is, and you don't know what it is, and we won't find out until that bid arrives. But when it does arrive, we will know what Pellegrini thinks is big club mentality. And I keep going back to Alex Ferguson. This is why he lasted. He used to get rid of the people at the right time. He used to have that conveyor belt of players. He wasn't scared to sell players because he knew he could go replace them. And we need to have that attitude. We need to. There's no Diop leaves, the whole defense crumbles. There's none of that anymore because we've still got Balbuena. Diop leaves, we go get the next Diop. The challenge is finding him. And I think we're in a better situation than ever for doing that. So 60 million. It's fair. William Field, I like this question because you already know my answer and I already know yours. At Will Field 71 says, do you agree that failing to address the right back and left back positions could come back to haunt us?
Hello, William. It's quite possibly. Quite possibly. I understand why he's not dealing with it because there are bigger priorities in the team, and they are, as we've discussed numerous times, central midfield striker needed to be dealt with. I don't think it's terrible at left back. The fact we've got two is okay. Both or either could be improved upon. The right back is slightly different. I do feel right back slightly stronger because I do feel we have a blend there. I think I think a left back, is Cresswell going to get better? No, but he might find some form that he had in previous seasons. Is Masuaku going to get better? No. So I don't think there's much improvement there.
That means, just to jump in, I know what you're saying, but just jump in. Masuaku needs sorted. He's only got a year left of his contract. Something needs sorted there. Either we sell him or we give him a new deal. So we cannot piss about with this because he's worth 10 million probably. So we need to do something with him.
Yeah, okay. Well, we may well find that something does happen. Maybe he does go. Maybe they have somebody lined up. There's a lot of money. We talked about Clarence Hugh earlier. Sean's done a breakdown of the wages today about how much have been freed up. If we can get a left back, there's wages there to bring a new left back in. What I was going to say on the right-hand side was, is Zabaleta going to get better? No. Is Fredericks? He may well be able to. Ben Johnson is so close to being ready. So close to being ready. I want to leave a pathway over him because he is going to be a very, very good player. So I'm not as bothered about right back. In fact, I would be disappointed if we brought a right back in because we'd have four or five at Byram and it would completely block Ben Johnson's path.
I'm concerned about both full-back positions, less about the left back. I think we've got like a solid backup left back. Creswell and Masuaku, and I think we've got a solid backup right back in Zabaleta and Frederick. I'm not convinced any of them are good enough for the level we aspire to, but you can't just get to that level just like that. There's stepping stones, and we just got to be patient. I do think, and like I said to you, I think next year, May 2020, we're going to be talking about left backs and right backs predominantly. I think we'll be talking about who we want to bring in each of those positions because our midfield will hopefully be sorted, and as well as our striker. Dylan is at Arak on says, what future do you think is likely for the likes of Hugo and Snodgrass? Now, let's forget Hugo. Snodgrass, a very interesting question, I think, here. What is the future for Robert Snodgrass? Now, to give context to this, Robert Snodgrass is not a homegrown player. Homegrown, you have to have been in England, essentially, for 3 years under the age of 21. He was in Scotland at that time. That does not count as homegrown. So Snodgrass is actually a foreigner.
A foreigner? Tell me about it. He's Scottish.
Yeah, disgusting Scottish people, foreign people.
Hey, come over here, take our jobs.
Well, I'm not...
Steal our women. Yes, he said yes. Yeah.
After the Everton away game.
Absolutely, there you go.
How much tokens I've got.
Yeah. I think he probably reached his peak last season in terms of what he'll achieve at West Ham. I think that was a super season for Robert Snodgrass. He became a fan's favourite, Messy, and I still listen. He's always going to be held in high esteem. He's going to be one of those players that once he leaves and comes back, he's going to be held in high esteem with the fans. He'll be welcomed back. He'll be doing the legend thing in the players' lounge and stuff like that. Very, very popular. He donated a lot of his own money to Isla, set up the auction page. But I do think that was his pinnacle last season. There's no way he's going to play as much next season. They just won't. Robert Snodgrass will play significantly less.
If we are playing Snodgrass as much next season, it means we've failed in this transfer window. It means we have not brought in sufficient midfielders of ability, or it means someone's broken again. Yeah. He's a very good. He's a very hard worker. He's just limited. Would I keep him about for the squad? I think he's also got 1 year left now. I think he's now into his final 12 months. Do you know something? If a bid didn't come in, I would just let his contract run down, and then at the end of the season, thank him, and it just allows him to go somewhere free. He'd almost have his pick of his bunch. I think he'd end up at Celtic, to be honest with you. I think this next summer, 2020, I think he'll end up at Celtic or Rangers to see out the rest of his career a little bit, which isn't a bad move for him. So I think we do that. Like you said, he'll get a good send-off because of the way he bounced back from it. And, you know, the owners basically slagged him off and called him a crap signing, and he's stuck a virtual fingers up at them. You know, at one point he tweeted, "Thanks for the support, Mr. Chairman." You know, that's how bad it was, though. There was no way back for Snodgrass at that point. But he's grafted his way back. But he doesn't provide enough for me. For someone that's got quite a lot of attacking responsibility on the pitch, he doesn't get enough assists or goals. Assists. He's one of the best corner kick takers I've seen at West Ham United, actually. His corners are fantastic. Something that's de-appreciating in the Premier League in general, actually, isn't it? There's not many good corner takers left. But yeah, I'd have him about as a squad player. But if a bid came in at 5 million, thank him, see you later type thing. John Williams at John Con Can Ian says, will Oasis ever play together on the stage again?
Oh, I defer to you, young man.
No. I used to think they would until about a month ago. I listened to a podcast. Jack Mate, you know I like Jack Mate on YouTube. He does a podcast. He did a podcast with Noel Gallagher's daughter. Very good, very, very good. Go listen to it. It's not about... It's about being the daughter of a rich man, basically. She's very honest. I thought she was very open. She knows that she was the daughter of a rich man and stuff. But then I watched Liam Gallagher's film. Liam Gallagher's film came out last week. Documentary on Liam Gallagher's life, essentially. And I watched that. Prior to it coming out, Noel obviously got to see it. And he had a few issues with it. So he stopped Liam using any Oasis songs in it, for example. I can understand why, because Liam tears into him in his film. He talks about how when he was going through a divorce, he was skint, he had no money. So I think he tried to reach out to Noel and say, hey, do you want to get back together? I could do with a few bob. And Noel just ignored him. So he thought, you know what, I'm at my lowest here. And it sounded like he hit the bottle, hit the drugs, and buggered off abroad. And his friends and his other brother, Paul, had to go sort of rescue him, if you like, and bring him back. And now he's at the top of his game. And there was an interesting theory. People said what definitely maybe was, to me, not so much you, you're not a big Oasis fan, but let's just say you're a big Oasis fan, what those albums were to me and you from Oasis. Liam Gallagher's now producing music for the 18 and 19-year-olds of today. And he's saying that he's actually now on a second wave of generation. He's when you go to his concerts now, and it's right, I've been to his concert recently, there is a lot of teenagers there, 15-year-olds now, into Liam Gallagher, listening to Liam Gallagher. And he's now creating, no, I wouldn't call it an era of music, but he's now reaching out to kids with his new content, and he's popular again. He's selling out big venues again. He didn't do it with BDI. He did not do it, but he's doing it now. I don't think they'll get back together. I really don't, unless they're 10, 15 years away and no one's creating music. You know what? Well, fancy making 5 million, just call it a day. But if there's ever two stubborn people in the world, it's them two.
Yeah.
It is. So I don't think we will. I would love to, but do you know something? I'm happy seeing Liam. That's no.
Oh, he touched the wrong one.
Yeah, that's just a reaction. To be honest with you, Mark Noble's got more tokens. So
Yes, he has. He got the pat first. I noticed.
Tokens. Roger, right, we'll take a few more questions. We'll start wrapping this up. I don't want to be here all night, and poor John's going to try and put this to a podcast as well. Roger Gerling says, hi guys, do you think the club are doing enough to get our wage structure at a sensible level and not such a large gap in the difference between the players? And should we be trying to get lower wages but higher bonuses? Love the show, essential viewing. Thanks for the kind words, Roger, and your answer, Gonzo.
Yeah, thank you, Roger. I don't think they care that much, but I do. I like what you're saying. It's about the disparity between the top earners and the lower earners. So you've got someone on Chicharito on 140 grand, and then, you know, how much less does Mark Noble earn than him? Yeah, I think that's something that Tottenham have done very well. Actually, they've had a good pay parity. So, in terms of the bonuses, no, I don't think that's necessarily something you could do, because you have to entice the players to sign for you. We wouldn't have got Chicharito if we hadn't paid that money, and at the time we thought we needed him. So that's really the point. If we decide we are going to go for Maxi Gomez, as we discussed in part 1 of the Cup of Tea, he will not come here for his love of pie, mash and liquor. He will be coming here for money, and we're going to have to offer lots of it. He's not going to come if we say, you know what, we give you 50 grand, but you get 70 grand goal bonus. He'll say, no, don't bother. I want to stay in Spain anyway. So I think you've got to offer most of it in wages. I think some of it should be incentivized, and I think a lot of it will always be incentivized. But I do agree with having an equal. I think 140 grand is too much. I certainly wouldn't mind, you know, having 3 or 4 comparable players on sort of 90 grand, you know, and that sort of thing, and then a sort of ratcheted tier system from there. I think it's been a shock to everybody, though, to find out someone that Lucas Perez was on 75 grand. So clearly there's something needs to be looked at in terms of the wages we pay and to whom we pay them, basically.
Yeah, I think it's going to cause problems still in future, because when you hear about foreigners coming in, and apparently he's on like, what, 60 grand a week or something, apparently he's not much. If he plays well for 6 months, he's going to look at Marco and Abic, think, why is this guy on like nearly double what I'm on? Hang on a minute, I've been mugged off here. And this is the problem. We're now reaching out into the European market rather than the British one. So the wages are lower. But eventually they're going to get a bit pissed off with the disparity in pay as well. They're going to want more. And all it takes is one good season. All of a sudden, we have a bad thing. West Ham have been bad at this under this owners. That's giving players a new deal after one good season. Creswell got about 2 new deals on the bounce, I think. 2 summers in the bounce. Antonio got one after one good season. New deal. And I do think we almost need to cap it, I don't know, 100 grand maybe, and that's it, and try and get rid of people that's above 100 grand. I think there's only Anderson and Hernandez. I think an average is on the 100. We almost need to try and bring it in a little bit, because when the more European players we bring in, they're going to be looking at Snodgrass and going, how's this guy on 70 grand a week? And I'm on 50. You know, it's a bit funny going on. But, you know, some of these baby steps, you know, we're going in the right direction. We're reining the wage structure in. The good thing is we had Kieran Maguire on and we asked him about wages, and he said West Ham's perfect for wages. 60% of your income's going on wages. That's the ideal. So we're not underspending. We're not spending too much. We've got bang on, and we've got a lot to play with in this window as well. We could actually come out with a lower wage bill next season than we had this season, which is rare in Premier League football. Now we're moving on to the YouTube questions. People have left them on the post I put up on the community chat thing earlier. Edwards Webster says, how much does the American investor Trip Smith, who's supposed to have a share in the club, actually contribute in financial terms? Now, I'm asking you this because I actually know the answer to this. Do you know the answer to this?
How much does he contribute?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't contribute anything. He gave us an interest-free loan of Well, I was either 10 or 20 million.
10 million, bang on. Gonzo's right. That's your answer there for you. Ray Thompson, what do you two think of Danny Ings as a replacement for Carroll? And by the way, I'm not making this up. This is a genuine question for Ray Thompson. I know you probably can't see it.
I can't see it. I don't believe it.
I'm not making this up. It's on the channel. You can have a look.
Well, it's because he knows. He knows about your love affair and all that, doesn't he? That's why he's saying it. No. This is not the direction we should be heading. I've said it many times on this channel. Danny Ings is a substandard footballer. He's got a funny look about him, and anybody that rates him highly needs their brain looking at.
He's a bloody good player. Danny Ings is a good player. That's just unfortunately had a lot of injuries in his career. But I take him to replace Andy Carroll. The thing is, actually, I still think he's got the ability, but his injuries at Southampton put me off a little bit because he had them at Liverpool. He had the two big ones. But I always say I'd rather have a player with one big injury than three little injuries, because one big injury is unfortunate. Three little ones is injury prone to me. But he's had his big injuries, but he's now getting all the little ones at Southampton, and that's a big concern. So that's put me off. But I do think he's a damn good player. I think if he was fully fit, I think he would be
playing for Paris Saint-Germain.
Depends what their fans vote on the Socios app.
Yeah. So well, I do believe in the Socios, one big injury is worth more than three small ones.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. But yeah, I would like to see him if he was fully fit, but he's not. Diop for 45 million. This from Jamie Green. Diop for 45 million and a B-Tech Manchester United player. But if out of hand it was forced, what B-Tech Manchester United player would you take?
B-Tech?
It means like a cheap version.
What, like a crap Man United player? He means not Paul Pogba.
Yeah, so for example, like John Joe Shelby is like a B-Tech version of Mark Noble, for example.
I don't understand. A Man United player for 45 million.
Basically, if we were selling Diop to Man U for 45 million and a player,
yeah, and
you had to pick a player that was not one of their top 6 players, which one would you like to have? The bargain bucket of Manchester United.
I'll tell you what I'd do if I had to, and I'm not selling him. All right, I've made myself clear. But to play along, what was the gentleman's name?
Jamie. I don't know. I'm scrolling through the questions.
Oh, well, the caller, to play the game. That Greenford or whatever his name is.
Who?
Greenford.
Yeah. You're not getting him.
What do you mean I'm not getting him? He's not Paul Pogba. He can't even get in the first team.
He's touted as one of the best young talents in world football. You're not getting him. You're not getting.
I am getting him because he asked a question. That's who I'm having.
And you're not getting Chong or Gomez either. So don't say either of them.
Well, I am. That's what I said. I think his name's Greenford.
Yeah, he said B-Tech, not one of the most upcoming, young, promising players in world football.
That's what it's going to take to get us a Diop. If you come negotiating in Gonzo's office, that's what it's going to take.
Well, to play the game a bit more than Gonzo is, I would say Pereira, the centre midfielder. He's young. What's wrong with him?
He's crap. He won't do anything in the game.
Well, actually, I quite like them. Someone's recommendation of Dalot on the other chat. We did it, and another chat. Someone said about Dalot. I actually really like him. My concern is Ole keeps playing as a right winger, so he was brought in as a right back. So what is he? I'm not even sure. I don't think Ole knows either. But is that a good thing if Ole's putting him in the wrong position? Because then that means that he is actually a right back, and Ole's just fucked it up.
Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, I know who he is.
But I don't know. I've googled the first name, haven't I?
But you're not getting one of the most upcoming anyway.
Then they're not getting the best young central defender in Europe.
Right. Okay. That's a fair argument. Okay, I'll take that. That's a fair argument anyway. Last question is from Phil Kent. Regardless of who we buy or don't buy, do you honestly believe our sloppy play will improve? I don't. Our history now of giving the ball away, lack of desire, low shots on target, and often lack of motivation is a key reason for many poor results. Change of manager and players recently has made no difference. What do you think is missing?
Who's posted that?
Phil Kent.
Phil, listen, mate. And the fact of the matter is, it don't matter what we're going to do. We're going to finish 8th or 9th next season, and that's the fact of the matter. All I can hope is that we have a cup run and that Pellegrini takes it seriously. I'm not sure, but I do think there will be a number of our players that will get better. I highlighted them earlier. I think we're going to enjoy more play. I'm actually looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to seeing us play. I'm looking forward to going to the games. I have no doubt whatsoever that we're going to absolutely capitulate in some games. I know this. I know how it's going to be. I know we'll be sloppy, but I think we're going to next season have so many good attacking players on the pitch. We're going to have some special days next season, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I just hope some of those special days fall on days when we're contesting a cup competition and we can get through to final and we can get through to winning it. I am not expecting us to finish in a top 6 or anything like that, regardless of who we sign.
It's about moulding the team for me. This is Pellegrini's summer. Last summer, it was about sort of like ripping everything out and starting again. Well, he's had it here now. There's no excuses. We're not going to lose the first 4 games of season next season. And you know something, I wouldn't even put money on us losing the first one, despite it being Manchester City. I quite fancy that. You know, people were saying about it, and I was saying, trying to make the point, you know what, if I was a Man City fan, I'd be looking at that thinking, that's a tough fixture. Probably could have done without that in your first game of the season. And I think someone's going to finish in top 6 next season. I don't know which one's dropping out, but I think someone's getting in there, whether it's us, Leicester, Everton, Wolves. I don't know. I think someone is going to finish in that top 6. They're there to be taken. This transfer market is just showing that. Man United can't buy players. Arsenal are struggling to make a move. Their fans are getting upset because we're buying the players that they want. You know, the transfer market's leveled out a little bit. Manchester City are up there. You can't get there then. Liverpool only need 1 or 2 players, so they can go spend £70 million on each on 2 players because that's all they need. Man United need to do what we did last summer. So even if they have a £200 million budget, they're trying to bring in 6 players. It's £30 million a player. It doesn't go far when you're trying to buy players from Man U's first 11. So I think the opportunities there. As for his question, I know I've gone off tangent here for sloppy football and stuff. It's just because we didn't have the players Pellegrini wanted. Pellegrini's trying to make us play this football with players that just weren't up to scratch, or he didn't have the right balance of players in his first 11, if you like. He didn't have enough creative in there. So he's asking Mark Noble almost to try do stuff Mark Noble can't do. And that's what this summer is all about. It's about Pellegrini now shaping it, tweaking it a little bit, making it work. I fully believe Pellegrini now knows what his best 11 formation is. And I do think we're going to see 4-3-3. I think we're going to see... I used to think it was 4-2-3-1 that Pellegrini went to play. I actually think now he's doing what I've said this to you a lot. We need to play like the formation Liverpool and Man City play, the 4-3-3. And I think that's what we're going to be doing next season. I think we're going to see 4-3-3. I think that's what he's going to build it on. I think he's got his defensive partnership. I think he's got his captain. He's got his defensive midfielder. He's got his left winger in Anderson. He's got his creative centre midfielder in Fornals. The pieces are coming together now of the jigsaw a little bit, and there's no excuses. He's had plenty of time to arrange the pre-season schedule, etc., pick his friendlies and stuff. The guy's got no excuses. So there will be sloppy football next season. But you know what? I've seen Man City play sloppy football last year. I've seen Liverpool play sloppy football. The difference is they win games when they play sloppy. They can still win. They grind stuff out. We play sloppy, we get beat. And that's Pellegrini's real challenge. And there were some times we played a bit crap and we won games, like at Huddersfield at home. We should never have won that, but we did because we were still better than them. But I'm very hopeful. This is the most relaxed, happy, confident I've been in a summer transfer window in a long time, going into the season, full of expectation and hope. And you know what I like? I like the fact that most fans are keeping their feet firmly on the ground. And they're all saying, you know what, top 10 again is enough. Top 10 again is good. 2 seasons, top 10 is good. Progress and stuff. Now, there's a question. Someone asked a question about giving Pellegrini and Husilos a new contract. We're not going to discuss that tonight because we're going to be discussing that on Saturday because it's a big topic and we've got quite a few guests coming. I want to get people's say on this because it's something I'm quite passionate about a little bit. And I'm actually a bit... Do it. So I'll be explaining my best. But not everybody agrees with me. So I'm hoping on Saturday there's someone that disagrees with giving Pellegrini a new contract due to his age, etc., etc. But anyway, do you have any recommendations for filming? Any ideas for videos? Drop it below in the comments. Drop below in the comments to the questions we've been answering as well. Gonzo, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from me as well. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo and the rest of the team of Hammer's Chat will be back on your screens, televisions, laptops, mobile phones, whatever it is, very, very soon. All for one Hammer's Chat token. Bargain.